Hello, hello. We are live. We are live. How's everyone doing? Hello, 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 hello. I just got back inside from some yard work, branches and weeds and whatnot. Um, New YouTube video coming out tomorrow, and live stream right now. I'm doing a film shoot today. Doing a very fun film shoot. Uh, it's called Nerf Mafia. It's with my friends. Imagine gangster film, Goodfellas, Martin Scorsese, but all of the guns are Nerf guns. It's a lot of fun. This is something that we tried to film a couple years ago, but never really came to fruition. Um, but now we're giving another stab at it. So it's a lot of fun. I'm sure some kind of content on the channel will be made from this, whether it's a vlog or whatnot. But yes, how's everyone dreaming? How's everyone living? How the project's going? I am, after this, actually, we have the shoot right after. And I will be editing tonight, editing the YouTube video. The video is about workflow as an artist. A method that I've implemented into my own workflow, into my own creative process that has helped me a lot in being more efficient with the work, and also has to do with the mind, helping the mind when it gets overwhelmed with all of the steps, a part of the process, with all of the work that has to get done. And the method has to do with writing things down and simplifying the process. So if you resonate with that, then we can look forward to the video. Yeah, that is what is in the works right now. Still working on music and whatnot. I love all the support for the music video. It's so lovely to see. It's incredible that a lot of people were inspired by it. It was something that I made straight from the soul, something that I was kind of approached it with being very nonchalant and very like, okay, we're just gonna go in the woods and film something. But then the first day, we didn't have time because of the sunset. I underestimated uh, the timing of when the sun would go down. So then we had more. So then we had to delay the shoot. But then it gave me time to think of more ideas. So instead of filming that day, I started writing some more things. I was like, okay, you know what? Let me give a little more thought into this. Let's say there's like a story, and then I developed the story, somewhat of a loose story, and then that followed through into the next shoot days. And yeah, hello, Blue Monster Art. Finally caught it. You finally here. How does it feel? You've achieved. You've caught me in the wild. You've caught me. I'm happy to have you here. These streams are a lot of fun. These streams, we go very deep. There's a lot of great conversations. Exclusive video coming out today for Patreon. Also, YouTube memberships. I was only on Patreon before, but I'm setting up YouTube memberships. I'm in the middle of it. I'm waiting to hear back from YouTube, see if they approved my application. Let's hope, fingers crossed. I mean, I do have some illegal things on there, so who knows? It's not a confirmed thing. But yeah, I've ascended. You have ascended. You have ascended with us. Now you see things that others don't. You have transcended the matrix. You are a chosen one, Blue Monster Art. And now we're all in this together. We're all on this mission. You've ascended to new levels of creativity, the limitless mind. Blog post is out for this week. If you guys haven't seen it, it's about remembering your art. So what I mean by remembering your art is a new mode. It's a way of creating, a way of engaging your creativity where you kind of view the art, the piece of art, as already made, and it's there in the ether. It's there, already created. Almost like, okay, I just talked about Matrix. Let's stay in that framework of Matrix kind of terminology. Imagine you're right here and you can see time. When you look behind you, can see the past. You look in front of you, you can see the future. And the way that we think usually is like, okay, the piece of art is somewhere out there. It's not created yet because it's out there in the future. So we don't know what it looks like. We don't know what it is. And we just have to create it one by one, and we'll see what it turns out to be. But instead, I challenge you to engage your creative imagination to where you view the piece of art as already have been made, and it's already here in the present. Um, and it's kind of calling to you from the future. And what that does is it takes off pressure from needing every step to be perfect and needing to make every right move, um, because you're creating it from scratch. But that's not the case. It's already made. You're just feeling out what it is. It's almost like, if you're writing a song and you're writing lyrics, instead of trying to come up with lyrics, okay, what would be good here? Imagine as if this song is already a real thing. It's already a real song, and you just forgot the lyrics. So you're trying to remember the lyrics. Okay, what was the lyrics? What was the lyrics again? They're already there. They're already made. They already exist. You just forgot them. So, okay, I'm playing. What was it? Oh yeah, that was it. And you remember. You remember your art. And I really think this is a great way to engage in the creative process. It's something that I do in my own art. It's a produces the feeling of deja vu too, right? That feeling that doesn't really make logical sense of you remember something that never happened. That's just happening now, which makes no sense, but it makes sense at the soul level. So I think it's a good way to try and view the creative process, but I also do believe it, like, for real. Like, I actually think that's what the creative process is, because I think art comes from a source that transcends time. And so these things are already made, they're already out there. We're just bringing them now into our own worlds. Um, but yeah, that's one of my favorite blog posts that I've made so far. If you're not subscribed to the newsletter, check it out. Links are in all of the YouTube video descriptions. And what are you doing when you receive the most guidance, creative downloads, or whatever you want to call it? um, what am I doing? Usually for me, it's when I'm listening to music in the shower. Nice, nice. Yeah, no, music will do it. Music will do it. That's why sometimes what I do for my scripts is I'll make a mood board. I'll make a vision board or a mood board of images of inspiration for my story or my script. So let's say I'm working on a film that's inspired by a bunch of different films. I'll grab still frames from those films, put them into a collage, and then I'll play a soundtrack from one of those films. And as I listen to that music, I look at those images, ideas just funnel. Um, and yeah, I mean, it ranges. It certainly ranges. Because sometimes a lot of the times it's in the silence, right? When I'm not really listening to anything, or if I'm outside, journaling, writing my thoughts down, then ideas will come. Um, Maybe I'll see something, like I'll see something on Instagram, and then I get hit with a bunch of ideas, um, which is interesting because that usually happens when I'm not on Instagram for the whole day or for a while, and then the first thing I see, then it just inspires me with all these things, which is interesting how that works, because then an overflux of that, an overstimulation of social media, of Instagram, could then do the opposite, which is what I talk about in my videos. But yeah, and then usually a lot of the times at night I'll get a lot of ideas, usually from music. I don't know, I just for all my songs, my music, like, it's usually just at nighttime, just some melody comes, or I just have the urge to start creating. I remember one morning I did wake up and I started listening to Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. I listened to that vinyl, and then I was just like, oh my gosh, I just want to make music right now. And then I just started recording. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it ranges. It's a bunch of different things. But I think engaging in whatever your practice is, consciously engaging in it, if it's like a conscious effort to find more ideas, then I think that's good. Stressful because I always have to remember like 5 different things, then jump out of the shower, then write it all down. Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is, yeah. Maybe we should create something. Every shower should come with like I don't know. I don't know, record an audio at all times and you can listen to it. Is that kind of weird? That is true though. Yeah, you're gonna have to get out of the shower and write it all down. Maybe just keep a notepad and a pen in the bathroom. I like to carry notepads and journals wherever I go, and pens. Pens are everywhere. Pens are all over my house because it's a cycle. It's a two-way cycle. If you see all the pens around, all the papers around, then it's like your mind's like, oh, okay, let's receive ideas. Let's write them down, and then also when you have ideas, you have all these tools around you to write them down. So I think it's really good to kind of train your mind and be in that mode always of like, okay, my ideas are worth writing down. My ideas are worth materializing. Um, music is so powerful for ideas. I feel too. Yeah, music is. Psh, oh gosh, after like a long day, it's so funny. After a long day of working and doing things, I'll like put on a playlist from YouTube, like a playlist of maybe the calming Legend of Zelda music, and then psh, like it's just so vivid. All the ideas are just so vivid. Always creating music videos in my mind. Yeah, write those down. Write those music videos down. That's awesome. That's cool. Seeing a music video in your mind, that's nice. Yeah, that happened to me the other day. I got the idea of making a music video with the costume from my senior thesis film, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. I wrote it down. I drew it out. That's something else you could do. Writing down an idea. Maybe draw it out. Try drawing it out on a piece of paper. Like draw out some kind of visual or picture to represent the idea. Maybe it can represent the idea better than words can. What's helped me recently too, is like on sticky notes or on pieces of paper, I'll just like draw out a bunch of pictures that represent the ideas that I'm thinking about. And when I look at them, it can be more powerful than reading a word or sentence. So you could try that out too. I'm an artist. Do you want to see my surreal art? Yes, Ashley. Yes, yes, yes. I want to see it. Where can I find it? Thank you for joining the stream. How you doing? How you doing today? Waterproof notepad. I wonder what that would look like. Because the first thing that comes to mind is like something technological, but I don't want to be. I don't know. I would rather not be surrounded by that when I'm in the shower. But yeah, like something. I did imagine like an iPad almost like on the shower, like writing down something. Maybe that's like a good use for that kind of technology. I don't know. Maybe. I'll just spend all day in there. I want to try. I want to try one of those float tanks with music. You know what's funny actually? In this conversation, I think yeah, it's water. I think it's the water because on like a physical, spiritual level, our body's made up mostly of water. We are conceived in water, in fluids, right? In water, and our species comes from the water. I think water is a huge, like probably the biggest thing on earth that is most connected, like the biggest physical element connected with us as humans. And I always think it's whether it's a shower or but even on top of the shower, every day you should cover yourself with water. So like if you can swim in some kind of natural thing of water, because water reconnects you to your soul. Water is the physical bridge, I think, um, to the soul, and I think that's what it is in the shower. It's like that. It's the water. That's the kind of stimulation that the water gives on the body. And I noticed that too, like on the beach, in the ocean when I'm in the water and I go deep out and I'm just with myself in the water. I remember one time I got I the most, how do I word this? The time period, or like the hour or time frame or time burst where I ever got the most ideas ever in my life was when I went inside deep into the ocean by myself, and I was just with myself jumping in the waves. And I had never gotten so many ideas and downloads in my whole life. It was crazy. And deep things, very deep things about my art, things about things I want to make, specific ideas for art, and just ideas on life in general, just all struck me as I was there in the water with myself. So I think it's water in general. So however you can use water to your advantage in that way. And that's just the creative side. It's not even going into like the health benefits of surrounding yourself with water. Also, drink water. Make sure you guys are hydrating yourself. Which Zelda game? Oh, I mean, I just put on the Legend of Zelda soundtrack playlists. I think it's just all of the music. But Twilight Princess is my favorite game, favorite soundtrack. That game is genius. I don't know. That's just like one of my favorite pieces of art ever. Good tips. Imagine life without music or creativity. Can't do it. Can't do it. Even if I could, I wouldn't want to. Also, I watch your art motivation video every time before I sketch, and I always finish my sketches so fast. That's awesome. Wow, that means a lot. Thank you. Thank you. That's great. I'm happy that it helps you in that way. I'm happy that the video can inspire and motivate you with your art. That's one of the reasons why I make the videos. It's so I can curate and help this community of artists, and we can all share wisdom and share help and motivation, inspiration, and all that stuff. That's great. Doesn't water represent spirituality? Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. I really think like using water in your life more in conscious ways. Definitely like dunking your body in water in some form every day, on top of, a daily shower. I think that's super, super important. And also on top of dehydration, just regular use of water, washing the face or, anything else. How how do you actually put these ideas to action? Whenever I sit down to bring my ideas to life, I get taken over by all the technical aspects and lose that creative spirit. Yeah, that is I think that's the thing about being human is that we're not entirely, spirit. We're not entirely intuitive. We're not entirely, you know, um, always wholly in tune with that intuition. So that's like the dilemma. That's the challenge of being human when it comes to the creative process. But that's the whole thing that I think we all collectively have to deal with and have to kind of grapple with. It's always going to be this battle between the mind and the heart, or the mind and the spirit. And we're always going to, life and resistance is always going to find its way to disconnect us from our creativity and from our spirit. But that's because it has to. It's because life has to do that. And that has to happen to us because we need to be challenged. And our relationship with our own spirit has to grow. And that can only happen through that kind of difficulty. Um, so I think like when that does come up, when you notice that happening, view it as you view it for what it is. Don't mistake it for the truth. Don't mistake those voices and that perfection for the truth, but view it as, a challenge that's meant to be there and ultimately is for your highest good. Because it is challenging you. But if you know that it's challenging you, then you know what you have to kind of stand strong in, which is your idea, which is your spirit, which is the thing that you have to do, the thing that you're meant to create. So, and that looks like a bunch of different things, when you're actually sitting down there and writing the ideas and creating the art, however your process looks like. But be conscious about building that skill of deciphering between, what is perfectionism, what is the mind, what is the negativity, what is the technical aspect that's overshadowing my heart, and then what is my spirit. And my mom would always say, intuition is calm and fear is anxious. So listen to the voice that's calm. Don't listen to the voice that's anxious, the voice that's scared or frizzled, or, that you feel it's coming from an anxious place. And again, that looks different, like a snowflake, like a fingerprint. It looks different for every single human, every single person with their own process. For me, what it looks like, usually is I'll come in with a very vivid idea, like you're describing now, of what I want to do. And then I start doubting my own ability, or my mind's really, I should say my mind, not really me, because me, I'm the soul, right? I'm the spirit. But my mind starts doubting my own ability to bring that to fruition. But what I do is I go into the feeling, I tap into the feeling, not logic. I go into emotion, I go into feeling out what feels right in the piece of art That's why I always talk about feelings. That's why I was talking about leaning into the feeling, because I think the more that you do that, the more you tap into the signals from the soul, because the soul talks to you through feelings. And thoughts that are from the soul are also feelings. I would say those are feelings, because you're getting a feeling of something. It doesn't usually make logical sense, and doesn't have to, but it is a feeling that you get. So you have to trust the feeling and follow the feeling. Feeling, 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 feeling. Also, showers create whirlpools, and I've seen people say how consciousness is like a localized whirlpool of the ocean. Ah, wow, that's cool. Yeah, for sure. Don't know if you've seen that comparison before. I've never heard of that specific comparison, but yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. If you see, yeah, everything as a vast cosmic ocean of energy, consciousness, our own individual souls is, yeah, it's like the little tornadoes that happen within the wind that start riling up all of the leaves. That's us. Those are the individual souls. Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. That's a beautiful way. That's a beautiful artistic way of viewing that. You should definitely try a float tank. Yeah, I'll have to find a float tank somewhere. Reconnect with my soul in that way. That'd be nice. Twilight Princess is amazing. Wind Waker is also great. Yeah, Wind Waker is. I never finished that one, but that one is a lot of fun. That was a very cute link. Do you ever share your writing with people? I'm writing at the moment, but I don't know if I want to show it to people I know. Um, Not usually. Not really. I like to kind of just stay in my mode of creating and stay in my mode of trusting what it looks like. And then when it feels right, I will bring it to other people. And then I will see what they say, what feedback resonates. I hear what people say, and if something they say feels strong and it feels right, then I'll listen to that, and they'll serve as a good mirror for my soul and what I want to do and where I want to bring the art. But there's a great benefit to just staying in the zone, just like trusting. You should definitely never feel like you have to bring it to someone else. You should develop a certain level of trust with your own creative spirit, where you know that you have all the answers within, and there's not going to be anything out in the external world that um, that you need to access in order to bring this piece of art to where it's meant to go. If that is the case, then you're going to feel that. That's going to be intuitive. You're going to feel, okay, I want to. For some reason, I feel like I should show the script to Ryan, or I should show it to, you know, Steve, or I should show it to, um, Sarah, whoever it is. And then maybe the reason you feel the intuition is because they're actually meant to show you something. They're meant to give you an idea. They're meant to point out something to you. So, but again, that always comes from the feeling. So I would definitely trust. I would definitely trust that you have everything you need within. Don't feel like it's out there somewhere. And if you don't find it, then you're not going to make something that's good. Just being in the zone. And again, any feedback that does resonate, that's the feedback that you listen to. Don't listen to criticism that you don't like or you don't agree with, because then you're just listening to it because someone else said so, and you don't want to put yourself in that position. But yeah, if it feels right, isn't that the answer to everything? If it feels right. But it's true though. If it feels right, then yes, because once you start making like strict laws, or strict like this never works, or that you cannot do this, or you should never do that, or this should never happen, then in a way you kind of limit the creativity of that thing, because creativity is limitless. It can look like anything. Yeah, and the feeling transcends laws. I think it helps too, because the water is warm in the shower, and there's the element of being alone. You feel safe and you can fully immerse yourself in the activity. Also, I think moving helps too. Yeah, that's true. Showers are right, that element of solitude, vulnerability. And that's why I also think getting ideas in the shower, viewing it from like a solitude kind of framework, solitude in general, whatever that looks like, whether it's not in the shower, whether it's somewhere else, for sure. Spending time in nature, in the woods, or spending time outside, or spending time in your room or in silence, that kind of solitude. that element of solitude and vulnerability where you're just with yourself, opening that channel for ideas and creativity. Yeah, I think it's all connected. Yo, Tim, what's going on, bro? How you doing, man? How you doing? How you doing? Thank you for joining the live, bro. I'm still thinking about that magic show. I relate because I always say I'd be best off as creative director because ideas flow out of me constantly, but always struggle with the doing. Yeah, yeah. Spend a lot of time in the head, but I think that's the it's at least something that I believe with my channel and the content, and I think the way that we can all connect is um, the shared experience of needing to become a dream warrior in order to actualize our ideas. Because as artists, we all have a bunch of creative ideas in our head, but it takes another realm, another skill to actually do the work. Because that's action, that's discipline, that's being a dream warrior. You know, warrior that where you're fighting for your dreams. So that's another. It's not the same thing as creativity, because creativity is the all of the stuff in here. So yeah, I think something that we can all work on collectively, and that we all need to, but something that we can all help each other with is finding ways to tap into that inner dream warrior and tap into that discipline, tap into that that ability to actualize our dreams, that ability to do the work. That's why I'm making my next video. That's why the video is coming out Sunday about that, about workflow. Your mom sounds very wise. Oh, thank you. I will tell her that. She is very wise. She is very, very wise. Lean into the feeling, the mind gets in the way too much. Yeah. Yeah, I always say that the mind has to catch up to the soul. Um, so if something comes from the soul and you feel intuition, but you can't explain it, you listen to that and then it might make sense later. And maybe it'll never make sense. Maybe you'll never know why that happened or why you had to do that thing. Only God knows, maybe. But all you know is that you had to do it and you were meant to do it. And sometimes that really is enough. Clicked on this live by accident, but stay because it didn't feel like on accident. There are no coincidences. There are no accidents. Beautiful advice. Thank you. I'm off to lean into the feeling. Great. I'm happy. Thank you. Thank you for asking the question. And I'm happy that the words resonate. And I'm happy that you accidentally joined the live. But yeah, there are no accidents. You were definitely meant to be here. All of you guys are meant to be here now. And thank you for supporting the content. Thank you for joining the channel. If you're subscribed, thank you for that, because it means a lot. All of the support that you guys give to my content, it's a warm love that I'm accepting into my heart, because I love creating videos. I love making this content. I've loved it, since the beginning. I don't know, my enjoyment only increases over time as I create more videos. So the fact that it's supported by a lot of people is a gift. It's a blessing that that doesn't go unnoticed, and it doesn't go unappreciated. I appreciate it a lot. It truly is an honor. So thank you, everyone, very, very much. The monster art, for me, it took a long time of just creating things on my own to the point where I felt confident and happy enough with the work to start showing people. So just listen to what you feel. Yeah, listen to what you feel. The trust. Yeah. Don't let other people's criticism or the feeling to show other people your work replace the trust that you should have with your own thoughts and feelings and criticism for your own work, because that trust is always going to be very, very important to listen to yourself. Creativity is infinite. It's like remembering what we came from, essence of who we are, spirits. Yes, exactly. Yes, that's why creativity is ever so important to tap into now as a human race, because I think we get disconnected from it in today's world with our habits and creations, and everything's a lot of things are handed to us. I think we live in an age of conveniency like never before. And tapping into that creativity, anything's possible. We need, in order to live in a better world, we need new ideas, and we need new takes on the things around us. So we get to decide that, but we have to tap into that, and we have to believe that there's something more. Collectively, I think we're too reliant on on technology and logic and science. We've forgotten the spirit. We've forgotten creativity. We've forgotten the essence of what creativity is. I do believe that. So don't think that your work is unimportant as an artist. I really do believe, you know, I have a feeling that decades, maybe centuries from now, we will look back and realize the true importance of creativity was much more than just creating art. But that us artists were the pioneers and were the, not that creativity is anything new, but I think in relation to where we're at now as a race, we can be pioneers of this relationship with our collective soul, with creativity, um, through our own art and through our own creativity, um, because it is an extremely important relationship and source to work with. And if we do it now, then we will see that work play out in the coming years. Just woke up, JDO. What's up? You do this early? Yeah, we did this live early because I have a film shoot. I have a film shoot with the boys, with some friends. So had to move the live stream a little early. But I'm happy to hear JDO. I'm happy to see you. Octopus Guy, hello, hello, hello. How you doing? How you doing? Thank you for joining the live. Appreciate you. I found your video on my feed. Thank you. Really helped me. Thank you for watching it. Thank you for supporting it. I love that you resonated with it. I'm happy that I helped you with whatever project or creative process you're working with now. And the video was made for you. I had made the video for people like you and for myself, really. I make the videos. When I read my scripts back, I'm like, oh yeah, this is just my soul talking to me. This is just me giving me myself advice that's relevant to where I'm at right now. So yeah, it serves multiple purposes. I'm happy that the video found you. And thank you for joining the live. Hey Tozak, I've been creating videos for about a year and never struggled with tapping into my creative side. So I was always motivated that I want to get brands and clients to work with me. Nice, 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 nice. I like that you're taking it seriously. Never struggled with tapping into creative side. That's great. That's if things come effortless and flowy, I would see what you're doing now because clearly you've developed some kind of process where you've made your workflow kind of efficient. But ever since I got them, I feel lost now and I struggle with creativity. Ever since you got what? Struggles? If you got struggles, I would see what you did in the past. You probably something, I mean, that, your own, in order to kind of study when you zoom in, you study like immediately what's happening right now in your journey. Sometimes it takes to zoom out and look at your journey as a whole. So I would look back at that timeline and look back at what you were doing when your creative side was efficient and see if something disconnected you from that or if you started doing something differently. And if, you aren't doing anything differently or if you didn't change your strategy or if that just came up, struggles started coming up, then maybe it's time to implement some new strategies and new methods as opposed to returning to old things. It's you can shake up your workflow. And I would definitely tap into your soul, spend time in solitude, find the answers within, because that's always going to tell you, whether that's through silence, meditation, through whatever it is whatever method feels right to tap into your own soul. I would do that because those answers are going to come up and be the best answers that you can receive, better than anything that I can tell you right now, I promise. That is why I usually, like, with a lot of questions, I really do always say, the answer to this question is within you. And the best thing I can do is serve as a mirror to reflect yourself back to you. So definitely trust that it's there within, how to tap into that creativity. Just a matter of accessing that. But yeah, I would see what you were doing when your creative side was efficient. Your creative side was good. And remember, and I say this a lot when people bring up this idea of disconnecting from your own creativity and or like, oh, I was so good in these months and then I lost it now and I don't know where it is and yada yada. Always remember that the source and the power that you were tapping into when your creativity was good And when you were in tune with creativity, that source is not different right now, and it never changed. It's still there within you. It's still in the same place, right here within. It's still there. It was there when you were tapping into it, and it's here now that you're struggling with it. And it's very important to not forget that, because if you forget that, or if you feel like that's not the case, then that's going to harm you in reconnecting back with it. Remember that it's always here, like waves hitting the rocks. Just because the rock feels like there's no waves coming doesn't mean that that's true. Maybe it's not open to receiving the rock. Maybe the rock is not open to receiving the waves, but it doesn't mean that the waves are not crashing on. It doesn't mean that they're not coming. Your creativity is still there, very much still there and present. It's just a matter of tapping back into it. So don't lose the hope. Don't lose that truth. Now it's just about finding the ways and methods to tap back into it. Imagine struggling on something, being aware of it, and knowing you can stop it, but day to day on, it feels more impossible to do anything about it. Imagine, I've been there, JDO. I've been there. And it's very simple. It's very simple. It's usually the thing. It's usually like we know we have to do something, and then we put it off, and we wait for a hack to come. We wait for an easy route to come. But the truth is that's not coming. And if it does, then maybe it serves you for momentarily. Maybe it helps you in the moment, but nonetheless, inevitably, we revert back to the same thing that we know we have to do. And it's just a matter of time before we actually do that. So that's kind of like the whole idea of discipline, is doing the thing that you know you have to do. And that's where discipline does come in. But I think that that can be dangerous when you see something that's happening, and you know you have to stop it, but you're not doing it, because it's like in those moments you're choosing which wolf to feed. Are you feeding the wolf that is resisting the thing, or are you feeding the wolf that's going to embrace and confront the thing? So you get to decide, and remember that whichever wolf you feed becomes stronger. But you got it. We all got it. It's our destiny. It wouldn't be coming into our life to defeat us and knock us down and make us give up forever. That's not its purpose. We know its purpose deep down. We know its destiny, which is to be overcome. What's your long-term vision, big dreams you have over the next few years? Anything you're aiming for? Yeah, so I am taking my music and my films and my filmography very, very serious. My kind of North Stars are is overall my content, or I should say in order, really, my films, my music, and my content. Those are kind of my big, vision things. I also started a freelancing business this year. But I don't view it as like, I view it as a means, as a way to support myself, and a way to support and really finance my artistic projects. So I wouldn't really, I wouldn't identify the business as like a big, like, dream, big goal. It is a big goal right now, but those three things: the content, the films, and the music. And those are my North Stars that are meant to take me wherever I want to go. I'm acting as if, I'm committed on the biggest levels in terms of music and filming, which is why I'm going all out with my projects, and I'm making a lot of music, and I'm working on big film projects of my own. My next film is going to be the biggest thing that I've made yet. So I'm treating those as if, that's it for my life. But I know that only God knows what's ahead. I'm not getting these dreams and visions about my music and my films for no reason, and I'm going to pursue them, and they're going to take me to where I'm meant to go. I can't predict what's going to happen in 5-10 years. I know that's going to be beautiful, and I know that, I have a lot of trust and faith in it. But yeah, my North Star is what I'm aiming for, acting as if I'm dedicated on the biggest levels. Like, I'm a I am a professional dedicated filmmaker. I'm a professional dedicated singer-songwriter. Those are the kind of modes I'm behaving in. And those are the dreams that I'm aiming for over the course of the next, I can say, yeah, like 5-10 years, but in that mode of like decades for sure. So that's what I'm going with. And those are the dreams that I'm living. And it's a day-to-day thing, it's always a day-to-day thing, working on your projects every day, making sure that you have projects to work on. That is always, because if that's not happening, then long term, nothing's really happening. Something has to be happening in the micro for things to come to fruition in the macro. And yeah, the music that's going to be rolling out this summer is something I'm really excited for. I've taken my first big steps with music, I would say, this summer, with my first single coming out, releasing the music video, and now I'm working on my next film script, which I plan. I don't want to go too much into the film because it's very early in its production, but I feel very deeply for the story and the idea, and I feel so soul restoring the film, because art is really therapy, and I think that's the best way to start a project, an artistic project. If you feel right from the get-go, or right from the beginning, like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so incredible to make. That's what I feel in my current film script. And yeah, it's a great thing to go off of. I think that's a great kind of like checkpoint to hit at the beginning of like the creative venture, the creative process, whatever project that you got. Back to journal and sleep. Good night. Thank you for your videos. Thank you for joining. Please sleep well. Get the best sleep of your life. You deserve it. Journal, get those thoughts down, return to peace and forgiveness and love, because that is what makes a good night of sleep. Thank you for joining, Octopus Guy. I appreciate you and your time. It's nice to know the feeling isn't alone. Thanks, Dozek, as well. Blue Monster Art, you got it, bro. I always think about how kids are super tapped into their creativity genius, then it gets beaten out of you purposely or just heavily neglected by society. Kids should run the world. Yeah. Honestly, kids should run the world. The inner child should run the world. I do believe. I believe that we should crown the inner child, because the inner child is that place of innocence and love, and yeah, I mean, become tapped out of it. Yeah, I think yeah, purposefully, by the kind of powers that be, but just our ways of acting, our habits, our collective habits, they disconnect us, because the thing is, we don't have to engage with our creativity. That's the thing, is the world that we live in now makes it easy to live a life where we don't have any need, or you know nothing's forcing us to tap into that. So then we just don't. But yeah, and I think it's that's think about when you were a kid and you were so present, and when memories as a kid were so vivid. Like, some vivid memories are just simple things. It wasn't even crazy things, like very simple, like at a certain playground, or looking at a certain tree, or looking at something in the sky. Or if you think about like very vivid childhood memories, like at least for me, a lot of them are just very simple things. I was just noticing the sensory environment, the sensory experience. And I think that speaks a lot to what is important to us as a kid, and how we maybe lose that and are disconnected from that as we grow up. But yeah, the childlike wonder, that is what's necessary ultimately to tap into as artists. Really, we're tapping into that innocent bliss of magical things, of creativity, of art, of simple things in the world. And the having a kind of awe at cotton candy sky, that when you get that now as an adult, that's you, I think, reconnecting with your inner child. That's you reconnected with your childlike creative spirit. So creating more of those moments, being more open to those moments, is helpful for tapping into that inner child and tapping into that creativity. And yeah, there's the whole idea of maturing and growing up. Obviously, like everything in balance, that's important. But when you do that, because there's a certain expectation that you shouldn't like certain things or behave a certain way, then that becomes dangerous for the spirit. And that's how things become repressed and suppressed. I feel like when I tap into my business side, I lose my creativity. Yeah, the business world is like that. It's definitely, it can feel like a machine, which, logically, with its whole like logic framework, can disconnect you from your creativity for sure. But something that I've, as a, I guess I could say, as a young entrepreneur, um, I've noticed things come up in the business side in my business where I can choose like certain routes in the way I approach and the way I think about things. Um, but I try to use the business as a way to, as another way to harness my creative spirit and harness my soul. Um, where I like something in business that I'm kind of using to evolve in my spiritual life is trust in God more and trust in the plan more and let go of my need to control certain things. Like, because in business, right, like one of the things is, okay, find as many clients as you can. That's what something that I'm doing now, right? I'm finding clients. I'm reaching out. I'm finding local businesses that need videos, and I become very, I've become very aware of the fact that I can never control what a client does, or I can never control if someone wants to buy something, or I can never control that, right? The only thing I can control is me reaching out. And so I notice myself when I have like a day of, like the other day, I went to next door town, and I went to a bunch of local businesses. I went to a bunch of restaurants and gyms and stuff like that. And I approached them. It was like traditional kind of cold calling, telling them about my business and telling them about, who I am and what I do. And walking away, I felt so good. I felt so whole. I felt so, like God was guiding me through all of that. And I was releasing this need to, or releasing this feeling like they need to become clients, or they need to, buy certain things, because I trust that those that are meant to work with me are going to. I don't need to overthink, any of the details of those interactions, or how well I performed, uh, because that's I'm not going to miss out on something that's meant for me. I'm not going to miss out on a client. If something doesn't work out, then it's meant to work out that way, because maybe it wouldn't be a good work relationship. Um, and that's all has to do with creativity, because that's the soul and that's the spirit. Trusting, um, becoming intuitive, and not over, uh, logisticizing. That's not a word at all. But indulging in that logic, I guess, the logical world of the business world. Um, so yeah, I think if you can find ways to use your business life as a ways not to disconnect you from your spirit, but to connect you further, take that challenge head on. I think that would be very, very good, very beneficial. The more I struggle with the thing, the worse I get. I get stuck, and then I start to lose the best part of myself. Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen, JDO. Don't. Yeah, the struggle is real. The struggle is definitely real, but it's you can overcome it. You can do it. You can again. It's all about, I think, seeing the challenge as a good thing and seeing it as an opportunity to grow, and that as something that's meant to come to you right now, and inviting it. The more you invite it, the more you embrace it. And I think the more you do that, the more you align with the part of yourself that's eventually going to overcome it, or not eventually, that's going to overcome it right now. Skirma, yo, what's going on? How you doing? How you doing? Thank you for joining the live, bro. Hope you're doing well. I can understand what you mean, kind of relate. For me, it's a maximum flow idea generation. When I'm accessing things that really inspire me, I find that fun. Find that fun. Find that fun. There are moments where my art's flowing and others where I feel unmotivated and I hate what I make. But I only get to the good stuff when I keep playing until something clicks. It always does. Yeah, it always does. Yeah. Yeah. Maintain that faith, maintain that hope that it's gonna be good. You're gonna get there. You're gonna get there. You really are inspiring. Thank you, bud. Thank you so much. That means a lot. I'm happy that the words resonate. Happy that you're inspired. I appreciate you. Appreciate your support. Thank you. You'll go far because you're extremely passionate, live and breathe what you do. Same with me. Amen. 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 Live and breathe. Live and breathe. The love and the passion. That's true. Yeah, passion. That's successful people are very passionate. I think passion is that, that kind of grit, that passion, and that grit and that commitment. That's I think the number one thing when it comes to success, ultimately achieving what you want to do. Hey, yo, only Camillus. How you doing? How you doing? The film you're planning is soul restoring for you, then it'll be for others. Yes. Hey, you get it. That's so true. If you go so deep within your own soul, if you go so deep within that inner world, then you are connecting with the essence of your spirit and soul, which is the essence of everyone else that you know. So if you go super deeply personal with yourself, with your own art, you're going to strike the collective cosmic chord that's within everyone. And that's why with my latest film that I made, it was the most personal film. It was the film where I went deepest within my soul, and consequently, it was the film that connected deepest with, you know, a lot of the people who I showed compared to any other film that I made before. So yeah, trust that your art, the more personal it is, it's not like it's more inaccessible to other people. Trust that it's the opposite. But I know it's possible to go over it, and once I overcome it, it may never stop me again. Yes. Yeah. Something that helps me, I will say, this is a good point, JDL. This is a good point. Something that helps me when I struggle with something for a while, it could be weeks or months or whatever it is. It could be a temptation, it could be I don't know, indulgence in something, it could be a distraction, it could be I don't know, be anything. A bad habit. Abamaton's bad habit. Whatever it is. Sometimes I view it from the future. I think, okay, right now I'm struggling with it, but 10, 20 years from now, I'll look back at the thing and be like, wow, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I did have to deal with that one time. And when I tap into that self, I kind of actualize it and materialize that self in real time. And that part that's within me right now, because it is within me, it's the part that's going to overcome it. That part becomes stronger and I feel it. I feel more of its presence. So that definitely helps. I just don't know how to be creative under pressure of wanting to make money. Yeah, it is a challenge. It's a beautiful challenge though. Um, and that's the whole thing at the star of an artist, right? Is that we make things that we like, we engage with our creativity, but ultimately we have to be practical. And I think that's part of being the dream warrior, right? Is becoming a dream warrior is becoming disciplined to actually do the work, but also it has to do with this way of, making having the way that we make money and the way that we survive in the kind of society that we do align with our own creativity and not we don't want to have jobs that kill our soul. And I think that's the issue right now with a lot of the world is that, you know, maybe someone's doing good in their mental, emotional, physical life, but in their spiritual life, it's like dead because they work a job that doesn't fulfill them spiritually. So how do you work a job that fulfills you spiritually as an artist? That is that is part of what it takes to um what is the word? Not actualizing, not materializing. To I can't find the word right now, but bringing out your dream warrior. Um, and there is no one way, there's no one path. Um, there's no one answer. There's no one model for how to turn your art into a business that's going to be guaranteed. I think certain things that are patterns and certain things that, generally help other people are good things to learn from, things that I learned from, whether it's making content, making yourself a certain brand on online, um, you know, selling certain products in a certain way on websites or, um, these certain things we can learn from, and certain things that I'm kind of taking to my own little world of, art and business and whatnot. Um, some that I'm doing now, like I said, is my business, my freelancing. Which Ben Lerner's in here. Yo, how you doing, Ben, bro? How you doing? Ben has been he's been my mentor, my videographer mentor so far. Um, so I appreciate you, Ben. Thank you for all of the wisdom. Always, thank you for all the inspiration. Um, but the videography is something that I've leaned into because it's I notice that when I do the work, actually, it doesn't feel like work, and it does spiritually fulfill me because I'm working with cameras and I'm working with, it is an artistic practice, making these videos for for these businesses. So it's fun. It doesn't really feel like work. It's not ultimately what it's not like it's not like my dream to be a videographer, but it is my dream to be a filmmaker. Those two worlds are probably like two of the closest worlds within that kind of space of video making. Um, so that's something that I tap into to support myself, to finance my dreams. And that's me finding my way, creating, making money while, maintaining my creative life. And again, it's a means to my project. Um, and yeah, there's no one way model. And I think that the, the reason why it's a beautiful challenge of needing to make money while being an artist is that it forces you to kind of go within and find those answers within and find out what you have to do, and increasing your trust in life and increasing your trust and your faith in the plan, because ultimately you don't know where something's going to lead. You don't know how something's going to play out. You don't know how this one thing is going to lead you to the next. You just don't know how that is. So you just have to take those steps and trust and do what feels right now. um and yeah, you don't you that perfect way that you're going to live your life, that perfect workflow of how you're going to, oh, okay, you're going to make money this way and you're going to support your dreams this way. You're going to, turn this into a business and be a creative this way. Can't really anticipate or plan that out specifically. I think when you have a dream, you have a goal, you have something in your mind, then you pursue that. But you can't become attached to how everything plays out, beat for beat. And that's the magic of life. But I think definitely having a certain having a faith in yourself, figuring it out along the way, and just going for something, I think will help you in that journey and find a way to make it work. Yeah, the world could heal if more people connected to their inner child spirit. Yeah, the world needs presence. The world leaders need to be present. People who are present. Oh yeah, Sarah, that's it, isn't it? A lot of stress, fear involved, especially creating for others. Setting up my own fashion brand, so I don't want that issue to because I release whatever I want to. Yeah, yeah, that can disconnect you if you're placing your own art, or you're placing other people's kind of anticipation of your art over your own creative process. Yeah, if you're making art for others into a business, yeah. But it's just you have to stay in tune with what you like. You have to stay in tune and have trust and faith of what was said before. That if you love it, if it resonates with you, other people will as well. And even if others don't, it has nothing to do with you and the art. Just like some people like certain flavors of ice cream over others, doesn't mean that if you love vanilla and no one else in the world loves vanilla, it doesn't mean that vanilla is a bad flavor. Just don't vibe with it. Certain people don't vibe with it. Definitely imagine myself losing access to that if I was creating for others. So definitely see where you come from. Your feelings are valid. Feelings are valid, of course. And amen. Resonate. How do you balance music and film making? Do you follow a routine, and how do you paint your future? How do you become loyal to your path? Finally, how do you embody mastermind, body, soul, spirit? Whoa, loaded, loaded. I will say, um, uh, filmmaking. I notice that certain patterns I have with filmmaking music is when I'm shooting films, I'm not in the act of like shooting and editing a film. I'm usually in like the writing stage of songs of music, and now that I'm working on a script for a film, I'm in the shooting and editing stage for music, so like recording and producing. So, which makes sense because I don't know, recording and producing music while shooting a film would be a bit much. But that nice balance of like I'm writing one thing while I'm executing the other, and then when I'm writing this thing, then I'm executing the previous thing. So that's how those two things kind of ebb and flow. Um, I acknowledge that, because I take on music as well, doesn't give me as much time maybe for filmmaking, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that's how my journey is meant to play out because those things kind of feed into each other. Making music is, for me, my own path. Making music is spending the time that I would otherwise dedicate to filmmaking. It's better for me. It's worth it more if I dedicate towards music. Not only because I love music and I don't want to give that up, but also because I think that part of my creative spirit that's being nourished from song writing um, is benefiting the side that engages with filmmaking. So yeah, they're definitely two beautiful parts of my journey. Um, Painting my future, I let God paint or I let God design the canvas and the painting. I follow where the brush goes and I don't question it. Um, and again, I think it's all about having those north stars and having those like goals and visions and dreams and pursuing them without being attached to specifically how things play out. And even really to the north star itself, because you could have a dream and then maybe that doesn't happen, but it led you to where you're meant to go. Like one time I was at the park and my friend, I told him to throw the frisbee and I was sprinting for it. And I was there with two friends. And one friend, I was like, throw the frisbee. I sprinted a while. I was not a while. I mean, it was like maybe like 10 seconds, but I was running fast. And I almost got the frisbee. It was crazy. It was almost the craziest catch of my life. And then I missed the frisbee. But then I realized a second frisbee coming towards me from my other friend who also threw one. And I was at the perfect place at the perfect time to catch that one. And that kind of taught me right there is like, whoa, like I can go for one thing. And even if I don't get that one thing, it put me in the perfect place at the perfect time to get something that I was actually meant to get. And at the end of the day, it maybe doesn't matter that I didn't get the first frisbee. I was meant to grab the second. And that was kind of God showing me something. God was kind of telling me something important from that, I believe. How do you embody master mind, body, spirit? That could be that could be a whole thing in and of itself. Um, but take care of your physical self. Realize that they're all in tune with one another. Your physical self and your spiritual self. Find times of silence. Use water to your advantage. Prioritize your sleep, and don't indulge in activities that you know are not good for you. I'm 30. I'm at a crossroad where to choose between MD career for a lifetime. I'm not happy with that, or go with worship music, what my soul longs for. Yeah. I mean, you already know what I'm gonna say. You have to go with what feels right in the soul. You have to go with. You have to pursue. If you don't pursue what the soul wants to do, then you're gonna live a life. You're probably gonna live a life where you're not spiritually fulfilled, and you have to ask yourself: Is it's a life where you're spiritually unfulfilled, a life that's better than a life where you're pursuing something because it's more practical? You have to ask yourself that question. Um, and it's a common thing for a lot of us to settle for one thing, but have the side hustle and side passion of the other for practical reasons. But also, sometimes you just have to go for things on life. Um, and you're 30, so it's not like you're settled with certain things that are going to be definites for the rest of your life. Even if you're 80 or 90, I mean, you have more life to live, so things can always change. So, you have the time. We all have the time. All of us do have the time. And anything that tells us we don't have the time um, is dangerous, I think. It can be dangerous to what the soul is possible of achieving. But yeah, you have to listen to your soul and to your spirit, and you have to connect to the answers within with what you're meant to do right now. Don't worry about the whole plan ahead because that can be overwhelming. And if you think about it all now, then you're listening to a lie, and that lie is that you have to do everything right now. And that's not true. All you have to do is the next step. So you have to become in tune with what you're meant to do right now. What is your immediate next step? And again, I would say you have to listen to the soul. You have to listen to what the soul longs for and what the soul wants to do. because the soul is giving you something that you're meant to follow. Can you tell me about soul restore? How can we connect in that energy? Soul restoring. I mean, I think that the best thing you could do with coming closer to your own soul and what restores a soul is journaling down moments throughout the day and through your life where you notice your soul. I got the film shoot in a bit, so I'm gonna wrap up these questions. Um, Give me 1 second, guys. I would say, if you notice something that restores your soul in your life throughout the day, write it down so you can become aware of it, and then write down on the opposite the things that take away from your soul. Maybe you engage in an activity that's fun in the moment, but then afterwards it doesn't feel right with your soul. Write that down. Realize that, acknowledge that, notice that, and be conscious about how you want to move forward with that. But I think it's cool because there's certain things that are generally soul restoring for most people on physical, mental, emotional, spiritual level. So physical, we talked about it before, water. I really do think water is one of the easiest physical things you could do to restore the soul and reconnect yourself with your soul. Um, so surrounding yourself in water, washing yourself, jumping in a natural body of water, uh, hydrating yourself, definitely hydrating yourself. Um, More into the physical world, exercise, movement, um, becoming still, meditation. That's going more into the mind, I think. Nothing's going to restore your soul like God. I do believe that. I believe that God can restore your soul like no other force, no other power. Um, and so the way I connect with God is through silence, is through prayer. And I think everyone should spend time in silence. Everyone should spend time in solitude. Solitude is one of the most beautiful things that we have in this life because solitude is one of the only things that only we are going to know. No one else on earth is going to know about your own solitude. And that's so special. That's so beautiful. When you spend time alone, no one else could ever experience that specific solitude that you have with yourself. The specific solitude I have with myself. No one else could ever experience that. But the general experience of solitude is collectively felt, and that's how we can all kind of have a shared experience. But yeah, I think that solitude silence is soul restoring, especially when you allow the soul to speak to you, allow the spirit to come out. And the reason why we're all different, we have personalities because we have certain activities and things that restore souls that may look different from other people. Maybe someone listened to classical music, puts them in a bad mood, they hate it, they're they just don't vibe with it. And for someone else, it's the most soul restoring audio experience ever. Listen to classical music, on a sunny day is that is, to me, that sounds very soul restoring for me. So what are your own individual activities, I think, that connected with your soul? How can you engage in those in a healthy way? But yeah, I think the soul takes priority over everything else. I believe that the soul does take priority over the mind, body, because the soul is the foundation for those things. Um, we're not a physical. It's like the saying, we're not a physical being having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience. And I think it's very true. And it's an energy that we have to tap into more. These live streams are space. The type of person I could sit down, chat for hours. Yes, you as well. Thank you so much for all of the lovely words and messages. These live streams are awesome. We go very deep. We go very, very deep. And we go into things that we can't really have conversations, like this, back and forth on the main videos, because it's just me talking. So I love these. It's really great. And I love that everyone talks so deep on a lot of things. And that's the beautiful thing about creativity. If you have a creative community of artists, these things will come up because creativity, you're tapping into the soul, into the spirit, and the soul spirit is the deepest thing. So it's going to bring out very deep things in your life, and it connects to everything else. Do you have green screen tips specifically with using smartphone? I know nothing about cameras, just using my phone at the moment until I can upgrade and start learning how they work. I know green screens, you can get some for very cheap. I don't really use green screens, but you can definitely like watch a YouTube tutorial and get one for cheap. So it's definitely one of the more accessible things. But yeah, you don't need to know much about cameras. I promise. You got it. You can start working. I'm happy that you're leaning into it. You're gonna start learning. You're starting to do it. That's all it takes is the one step, and then the next step after that. Is it all right to have more than one dream? No. I love being a story writer, but I kind of want to do some music and maybe even art, even though my art, I kind of suck. Don't say that. You don't suck. You don't suck. Don't listen to that voice. But yeah, do all the art that you want. You are the ballerina. You are the dancer of your life. You get to choose how your dance goes. So, you can write, you can paint, you can draw, you can make music, you can make films, you can do all of it. Obviously, you have to make some sacrifices. You can't spend hours and hours every single day on every single medium of art there is. That's just, physically it's impossible. Spiritually it is possible. In the mind, feeling whatever experience you want to have, whatever imagination you have. But physically, we do have limits. So you get to choose where you put your time, but don't limit yourself. You can do all those things. Just a matter of how much of those things you want to do. And for that, you just have to listen. You have to listen to the soul. Um, can sometimes think that can be too much. Yeah, it can be too much. It can feel like too much. But definitely don't force yourself to do things that you don't want to do. But if you feel like you want to do it, if it feels fun, then yeah, you go for it. For me, I have multiple strong interests: 3D design, fashion, electronics, and filmmaking, music videos. Nice. Combine all those into one for my brand. Maybe you can do the same. Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. Yes, yes, yes. Great point. Um, it's not a coincidence that you're getting all of those urges for those different mediums. There's a reason why you're drawn to certain mediums of art. Maybe they're meant to cross and blend in beautiful ways. For me, because I love filmmaking and music making, I love making the scores and soundtracks for my films. And then I love making now music videos for my songs. So those are the ways those kind of bridge. So you can ask yourself, why am I drawn to 3D design and fashion, electronics, like you're mentioning, Kurt? Maybe you're meant to cross them. Yeah, that's super genius, genius. You got that talent. No talent, just falling with. Hey, yep. True talent is yeah. True talent is tapping into the heart. True talent and true skill is being able to actualize the ideas from the heart and soul. You're right. What you said about solitude helped me to find myself after I was disassociated, disconnected from myself for like 20 years. Show me what I should be going forward. Yeah, those answers come then because we lose ourselves in the world. We lose ourselves to the flesh and to the world around us, the world that we live in. But if we can reconnect back to ourselves, to our soul, to our spirit, that's when I realize what we really should do. Kind of like filmmaking Bob Ross, Soul Restore, and David Lynch. David Lynch. I love David Lynch. I love David Lynch. His films are his films are crazy. Eraserhead is inspiring because that was his first feature film. So it's inspiring me right now as I venture into my own first big films. I have to go. I appreciate you, Tozak. God speaks through you. Love you. Have a wonderful day. Morning, evening, night. Everyone also in the chat. I leave with motivation, understand I have answers inside me. Beautiful. Thank you for that. Thank you for that sentiment. Thank you for your words. God bless you. Thank you for joining. I hope you also have a wonderful day or night. I'm going to have a great shoot after this. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you. Thank you for the time, the presence, and the love. I love the ballerina analogy. I did ballet when I was little and loved it. Oh, nice. Love you, Tozak. I love you too. Good to catch up. Good to catch you live. Thank you for being so inspiring. Yes, spiritually it is possible. Oh, thank you, Baba. Thank you so much for those words. That's lovely. I'm happy that you resonated with that. I'm happy that you resonate with all the things that we're talking about, all of the messages and all of the analogies. And yes, spiritually it is possible. Spiritually it is within anything is possible. If you get those visions that you can't explain, you're just meant to pursue them. You don't need to understand them now. Thank you for those words. And with that, I'm going to head out. I have enjoyed this live so much. This was incredible, absolutely amazing. You guys are all great. You guys are all lovely, and the time that our souls get to interact with each other is very sacred. And I'm happy that we got to experience this together. Now we will go out into the world and experience more of the kingdom, more of God's love, more of our lives. Love your life. Remember, love your life, love your life, love your life, love your life. If you don't love your life, you have to change that. You should change that. You should start working on that, because life is very short. And the reason why we're here is to enjoy it ultimately. So I hope I can help you guys reconnect with that. I hope you guys can do that for yourselves. I have the new video coming out tomorrow, which I'm very excited about. Exclusive video coming out later today, Patreon. And yeah, I'll see you guys very, very soon. Resonation created a word. Resonation. Resonation. I like it. I love it. Yeah, it's all about what resonates. Go make the best film 2024. Yeah. Yeah. I want to make the best film 2024. Everyone, let's go make the best art ever. We got it. Let's all, we'll talk more about this. Let's all start the new renaissance, the spiritual renaissance, because the world needs another renaissance. Yeah, more on that another time. All right, guys. Peace out, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well with your projects, and I will see you very, very soon. Peace. Peace and love. God bless. Dream on.